Religion, education, and words. So now we're going to move to superstition. We're going to talk about that real quick, but before we move forward, did anybody have any comments or any thoughts about that chapter that you wanted to share that we might have not missed or might have not discussed? Come on, join the circle, bro. Might as well fill out the circle. Hey, everybody, come on. Because we learning too. Right. And sharing too. So, is there anything that anybody wanted to stress or anything that anybody wanted to comment on from what we did last week as far as the hip-hop decoding? No? All right, let's move forward then. So, to recap, Black Dot is taking us into the Matrix. And he's talking about how the Matrix is being, in a sense, programmed to control us. And he started by talking about the words that we use and the words that's used against us. They talked about the education system and religion. These are boxes within the Matrix. Now, for those, we got new people here. Can anybody that's been here before and we talked about Matrix, can anybody explain to them what the Matrix is? Because I want to stress this. Part of this family is we got to be responsible for the information we get. So once we get it, we got to be able to share it. Because one day, one of y'all going to be up here, next year, one of y'all going to be up here doing this. Because we're going to have to start the cycle all over for a whole new group. And one of y'all going to have to step up and be doing this. So y'all might as well get ready. Especially you. Especially if you don't go to college.
Right.
Matrix is like a box. It's like...
Talk up a little bit. So.
It's like a box. It's like what we confined in. The government not pick what you do, but they kind of control. Because they use different tactics to get you inside of a box that you can't get out. And I know y'all watched the movie The Matrix, right? It's like that. It's like you're inside of a controlled system that you got to do a lot to get out of. And this book is explaining to you how to get out. And it's about hip-hop.
All right, so we're going to start with the on page 13 with superstitions. Anybody want to start reading?
I'll start. This is what the Matrix fears the most. One's ability to believe or have faith that an action, object, or circumstance that is not logically connected to a course of events can influence its outcome. Those who believe in superstitions live on the realm of the illogical and unexplainable. In other words, the magic realm. The key to its effectiveness is one's faith and belief. This is the only thing that can give a superstition true life. The Matrix knows that the only way it can survive and have power over you or your faith and belief in it. My fault. The Matrix knows that the only way it can survive and have power over you are your faith and belief in it, and only it. So it has created tons of negative press around superstitions to discredit them. It also uses methods to circumvent energy from superstitions that could generate real power by flooding the mainframe with thousands of made-up superstitions that have no real power at all. This is to confuse you. This is to confuse and deter you from tapping into any power greater than the Matrix. It's also done to keep the superstitions with real power reserved for a chosen few. There are many superstitions that people believe in, like never walk under a ladder. If you break a mirror, it's 7 years of bad luck. Black cats are bad luck. Never open an umbrella in the house, and many more. Whether these superstitions hold true or not, or are force-fed to us by the Matrix to confuse us, is beside the point. The fact that these types of superstitions are minute in power and don't threaten the reign that the Matrix has over us is the real issue. Superstitions in the form of witchcraft, black magic, satanic worship, voodoo, and sorcery are the ones that the Matrix uses all of its forces to make you flee from. Yes, these are the very same superstitions that they guard very heavily. Step out of the Matrix for a moment and ask yourself, why? Why are these superstitions where the true power lies? Why are these superstitions where the true power lies? Could one's belief in a force greater than the Matrix bring it to its knees? The Matrix will guard the answers to these questions at all costs. Rule of thumb, Whatever the Matrix tells you to stay away from, you should run to. Whatever the Matrix tells you is right for you, think the exact opposite. In most cases, this will lead you closer to the truth. Run to witchcraft, run to Satan, run to voodoo and black magic. It's obvious there's something there that the Matrix is trying to hide within these superstitions that deems very dangerous to its existence. The system is set up for logical and linear thought process. It cannot defend itself against illogical thoughts and actions. Believe in the unbelievable. Have faith in forces that the Matrix cannot even comprehend. Then sit back and watch as these forces go to work on our behalf to bring the Matrix to an end.
Comments, questions? He said something. Nobody got no questions when his brother say run to black magic, run to Satan worship, voodoo.
I'm gonna say, and then
he asked the question: are these superstitions where the true power lies? So we need to process that.
Let me get him. Go ahead.
So he says like run to Satan instead of like running away from God. But at the same time, if either way, like if there's like someone who already ran to Satan who's telling you like Satan is the true power and everything, stay away from God, and like he's someone who's like your enemy, how confusing can it get?
I mean,
in other words, how deep can the confusing deep rabbit hole go? How many tunnels does it have?
I mean, you just asked the question because that's the piece. You got to step out the matrix to really see how deep it goes, because he started describing the matrix as boxes within boxes within boxes. So there's a lot of mysteries going on around us now. So it goes deep. It goes very deep, because if they don't cover everything, that leaves you an avenue to escape. That's like if me and you wrestle and you want to beat me, you got to cut off every escape route I got for your move, because if not, I'm going to find it and I'm going to escape. But if you cut off every last escape, every known escape, then the only thing I could do is to move to something that you don't know and that I don't know. I have to go straight to my instincts and try to find a way to get out. You understand? Go ahead.
I mean, I have a question to pose. Since he's saying run to something, and most of the people, some people in here that don't understand it, what is witchcraft? What is Satan? What is voodoo? And what is black magic? And how does it benefit us?
Yeah.
Now, I'm thinking along the lines, because like I said, we can only speculate on what he means by this, because we don't know the brother until we get him to call in or come to visit, which we going to work on, get him here. So I won't speak for him, but I'm going to say this. One of the things that I'm picking up from this is research everything, because it's something in all these things that they use to scare us from. Like, for example, they had for years, they still got us scared of ghosts. No. But yet, go ahead, you say no.
I say no because, for me personally, I'm not scared of ghosts. It's not what I'm afraid of. I mean, ghosts are like something that like can either just pass through me or they're telling me something. Obviously, if it's appearing in front of me, it's trying to tell me something. Otherwise, why else would it spend its spirit time just like standing in front of me, like trying to scare the crap out of me? No, it's trying to tell me something.
But a majority
zombies, on the other hand, that's scary.
Nah, but
because they can touch you and they can bite you.
Let's look at this whole piece. Zombies. Really, when it comes down to it, what is the difference between a zombie and a ghost?
The fact that a zombie actually has
physical form and can affect physical reality.
I mean, affect physical reality. I mean, they both have physical forms.
But want to eat you.
Zombie actually has the ability to affect the physical reality.
Right. Ghosts supposedly can jump inside of you and take you over and have you doing things that you don't even know about. As a matter of fact, there are several cases of ghosts actually taking over individuals and having them do crazy things. As a matter of fact, you got people going to court saying that they was possessed by something and getting off for it. So, a zombie will eat you up physically. A ghost will eat you up mentally and spiritually. What's the difference? My point is, they got you scared of the dead, right? But yeah, we pour libations. In our culture, we always celebrate it. You know what I'm saying? That's just another phase of life. Why do they have us scared of that? So what he's saying is, we need to look into these things that they got us fearing. What is witchcraft? I won't get into that right now, because some of us are new here. This is a later discussion, because this actually I think this chapter probably will be better for us if we had went through the fast first, because some of us are brand new at this. So some of the questions we're going to ask is kind of spooky. What is witchcraft? What is voodoo? I mean, because voodoo is one of the things that they tell us to stay away from. Anybody know what voodoo is? Go ahead.
It's supposed to be, this is where zombies kind of derived from. It's supposed to be like we're taught that it's like supposed to be when one person has like a control over another person using like whatever artifact that has like a person's DNA or blood sample.
I'm running around and messing with stuff in the front office.
Gigi, come here. Now, when you look up voodoo, because I'm gonna pull out the computers. Y'all can do some research while we're doing some other stuff too. But look up some of the voodoo. You just described what the movies give us. What is actually voodoo? You know what I'm saying? How many people practice voodoo? I mean, and we have been taught to fear these type of things, but the question is, why? You know what I'm saying? Because when we are warriors, a warrior is one who is experienced involved in conflict. We understand that as a warrior, we got to constantly look into different things so that we can sharpen our weapon, which is our what? Our mind. Go ahead.
In Haiti, they use voodoo on some people to like voodoo them to not stop until they kill a certain amount of people. Like their body won't stop. So
that's why you don't see any white people in Haiti.
So
there's a lot of white people in Haiti.
Now there is after that earthquake, but before.
So that's probably why you can use voodoo to help. They probably ain't trying to have you use it.
Now, what if I told you voodoo's roots? Because they call a voodoo somebody who's a priest in voodoo a witch doctor. What if I told you that voodoo is a direct descendant of some African spiritual systems? And in voodoo, you learn about how to get along on this plane as well as other planes in the universe. It's a lot deeper than just controlling people or bringing something back from the dead, because all religions have that. But go ahead.
It can also be used to heal.
Mm-hmm.
Anything.
And sometimes also connect with the cosmos. Although there is actually a form of voodoo, it's called meditation.
Well, that's not voodoo. That's a common practices within all faiths that talk about you getting in contact with either something deeper within you or something farther outside of you.
I call it self voodoo because in truth it like kind of shows that you're either healing or like you're either healing or controlling yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I call it self voodoo rather than just voodoo. Like that's why it's considered voodoo.
All right, but now I'm gonna challenge you to look it up. I'm gonna challenge you to do some research. Any other questions or comments on that chapter?
Can I get a book?
I just want to comment on the research piece. You know, when I was 19, I read a biography of Satan, and you know the whole thing he's trying to get you to do, you know, to take yourself out that box is to face the things that you think is. That the world has taught you is spooky or it's this or it's that. You don't know what it is. You just know
I ain't supposed to do it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know the generalization. You know what I'm saying? But you know, we're there. You know, all voodoo, all you control people. You wanna really have a grasp on it. So when I was 19, I read biography of Satan. Come to find out Satan didn't exist till the 13th century. Somebody created him. You know what I'm saying? So that right there that was a piece of fear thrown out. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, warrior. What's the definition again?
No, you asked me too fast. Ask me again. One who is experienced and involved in conflict.
Involved in conflict. You can't be involved in conflict having fear, even subconscious fear, even in the back of my mind, all the devil's out to get me. You know what I'm saying? So, through reading that book, I was able to take that power away from anything that they call the devil being evil, having power over me. So that was a step out of the box right there. You know what I'm saying? So,
and that's a big step because I'm gonna say all original faiths outside of a lot of the Western religions that come out of the Middle East, there was no Satan. There was no being that was just distinctively evil that was in charge of all that. Y'all do know that, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, even in the Old Testament, you barely hear about Satan. Like, you hear about the snake, and then that's it.
He didn't have that type of power in the Old
Right.
Testament. He didn't have that power until they started.
Right now, because think about this. I want y'all to think about this. They say that the Creator, or what some people call God, or whatever name you give it, all powerful, all knowing, in all places at all times. Got a question for you. What in the world could compete against that?
Right.
How could there be an opposing force to something that is all knowing, all powerful, and in all places at all times? You go and then you go.
Because they say for every action there's an opposite and equal reaction. So there could be an opposite one that's all plays at all times, but it's not doing the right thing at the whole place.
Balance.
Yeah, balance.
Balance. I don't know.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
If you really think about it, in truth, I think that personally we are the balance. Like, we may be God bodies, but we cannot deny sin. And by that I mean, like, you cannot, like, if I was to ask exactly who here has lied before, everybody in this room cannot keep their hand down. Because at some point we've lied before. We probably, like, hurt somebody before. We probably, like, sinned before.
The word sin
And I call it sin because I don't know what else to call it right now. So with that being said, hush. But personally, if there's like an all-knowing, all-opposing force and everything like that, he knows exactly what's going to happen. There should be also someone else who, while he is his opposite, he still maintains, like, I guess you could say, the same knowledge. Like, as he, like, you can't, there's absolutely no way that you can be, like, all good, as far as we know right now.
So now this is my question. If you can't be all good, and I said you got to be with all knowledge, in all places at all times, we saying all. I ain't saying just good. See, because we just equate God with this whole concept, our concept of good. Mm-hmm. If it's outside our concept of good, we think it's something evil. Mm-hmm. It might just be beyond our veil of understanding, right? So now we got this being that got all this. And all of a sudden, there's supposed to be another being, all of a sudden, that popped up in the 13th century that has an equal amount of power?
Yeah, it's
what?
called the Pope.
Huh?
Yeah, it's called the Pope.
It's called who?
The Pope.
Okay. I mean, you can call it what you want, but I'm saying it's something for you to think about. How can something oppose something that's in all places, all time, all powerful? When you say somewhat powerful, we say all. Go ahead.
Influence.
I don't understand. I said all. I want you to understand.
If someone can oppose an all-powerful, all-knowing force, while there could be that, think about it for a second. Let's take Christmas, for example. Originally it's supposed to be about Jesus, it's supposed to be like the celebration of Jesus' birth and all that other stuff. But we've been influenced over time to believe in some big fat red man in the suit that somehow goes down through a chimney, sneaks in the middle of the night, and just like delivers presents and eats cookies, which that upon itself sounds disgusting. But if we're influenced to like believe that eventually the all-powerful, all-knowing force, while he does have control, we're influenced to actually like just forget about it, because the big jolly fat red man who has people sitting on his lap, again, sounds disgusting, is just like already there. Like he has the influence over like how, like if he's, I guess what I'm trying to say is like this. Like a mother, if she's there when you're very young and you grow up with her, she's your influence. That's the influence right there. That's your tipping scale. That's your point. But if there's someone like greater, and all you see is just your mother, that's all you see. She doesn't mention anything about God. She doesn't mention anything about Satan. She doesn't mention anything about this or that. She just says that, like she's doing it. Then you forget all about like the outside forces because you're so focused on the end. That's the influence right there. Influence.
I don't really follow how that got to do with.
Come on.
With there being opposing to the all-knowing, but I just want to comment that if something is all-knowing, like how Tim said, it's got everything. So it's got that good, it's got that evil. That just sums it up. It's everything in that all-knowing. So for there to be an opposing force to that, a true opposing force to that, you're almost talking about a whole nother
universe.
Yeah,
whole nother place.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So we talking about a whole nother world because the key word is all. If it's got all, if it's all knowing, it's got all knowledge of good, it's got all knowledge of evil, and everything in between.
Just because it has all knowledge, though, doesn't mean that we have all knowledge. There is a difference.
But now the point is, we're not talking about necessarily us. We're gonna get back to that in a minute. But the point I'm saying is, with superstition, it cuts us off, like you talked about, because you brought up a good point about the influence. But just because you influence something doesn't mean that you had a power. Because if you had an influence on me, once I get a glimpse of the truth, I could decide on whether or not I'm gonna still deal with you. But if you are all, I could never. I mean, I can actually not see you, but once I get that, I'm always gonna be. You gonna always hold more weight, more sway over me. Even if I do continue to practice Christmas, as you say, or keep on acknowledging this little Lord thing right here, is not as great as the all powerful. And it's a book that one day hopefully some of y'all study called the Kabbalion. In the Kabbalion, they talk about the 7 laws of the universe. And in the first law, they talk about the Creator. They say it's the all. All is mine. And they call it all in all. You got all with a capital A, and you got all with the small a. The all is the all-encompassing, all-knowing, all-powerful being. Everything else is the small a all. Just like the gods in God. You know what I'm saying? So in a sense, it's like you got this one big thing, but you got all these, as you say, opposing forces or other influences. But once you find out where that all source is, and you plug into that, that's when you become more powerful. And I think that's what Black Dot is trying to get us to start realizing. We are up under the influences of the Santa Clauses, as you described. What we need to start trying to see, especially when we're dealing with hip-hop, especially when we're dealing with our culture, is which one, what's real and what's not.
I'm talking about, I was kind of actually like talking about I was more like talking about the energy that we put into the influence that gives it power, not the influence itself.
Their belief.
Also, I think that's
That belief. And he talked about the importance of belief. Let's move on to food.
Yes, sir.
Anybody want to read? Page 14, food. You want to read, Gigi?
She like, yeah.
Go ahead, read it.
I'm not doing
Go ahead.
As I mentioned in the hip hop ritual, you are what you eat. It's a phrase that we've all heard before, but how many of us truly abide by it or have even given serious consideration to its validity? If we eat animal flesh when we become animalistic in our actions, if we eat poison foods, then our thought process becomes poison. It's just that simple. And this law is not just restricted to the physical. If mentally you're eating sex, violence, and destructive behavior, it will most certainly manifest through your physical actions. What you eat spiritually will manifest through your mental behavior. What the eyes eat feeds the mind. Just as a car needs fuel to run, we too need fuel to operate. Yes, there's a type of fuel that we put in our bodies will determine if we're operating sluggishly or at peak performance. Number one weapon makes use of control is food. He who controls the food controls the people. Food provides us nourishment as well as information. For instance, eating fruits and vegetables that Earth produces for us naturally will strengthen our bodies as well as convey information about our environment, past, present, and future. It's one of the ways that the Supreme Creator communicates the earth to us. Nature has always provided the answers to all of our questions. The exact opposite holds true for foods that are hazardous to our health. It weakens the body and feeds us misinformation, disinformation, and keeps us totally out of tune with nature. The nature has created an artificial environment which we now live in. We as a people have adapted well to the environment, mainly due to all the artificial foods that we eat, foods that have been manufactured by the matrix, of course. This hybrid food has served as the perfect conducer to feed us artificial information which we have accepted as a reality. Even the fruits and vegetables that grow from the earth have been laced with animal DNA and other toxins that make it difficult to receive the necessary information that would enable us to escape the illusion that is the matrix. Everything that we eat is polluted. In the beginning stages of programming, the matrix doesn't want to deprive you of food, but make sure that you are overindulged in all the wrong types of food at that. Over a course of time, this makes eating more habitual than essential. Once you develop a habit for food, you become dependent on it. Thus, it becomes a master, and you become a slave to it. Once you become a slave to food, the matrix can then move to phase 2, which would deprive you of it. We are then a total mercy of the matrix. We are the constant state of devolution when it comes to what we call food. In our highest state of being, we were Solarians who lived off the solar energy. As we began to fall, we became libertarians, then fruitarians, vegetarians, and finally savage meat eaters. At our lowest point, the matrix has seized the opportunity to set up shop. This has hindered our ability to rescind. We are the information lockdown. The foods we eat today have no informative value. The answers we seek for food can no longer provide. The creator of the universe is trying to talk to you. It is trying to provide you with the keys needed to unlock the mystery of the matrix. Yet the cause are going unheard because the channels have been switched. By genetically altering the food, we will only receive messages transmitted by the matrix, cleverly disguised as messages from the creator. We then process this information as the authentic. Once it seeps into our DNA, it's a wrap. At that point, every thought we have will be generated by the matrix. This eventually becomes our food for thought. In order to accelerate our exodus from the matrix, we must begin to take spiritual, mental, and physical fasts. Cleansing ourselves on all levels will help shed the unwanted powers of illusion that the matrix has burdened us with. It is only then that we will be able to see clearly, think clearly, and tune back into the frequency of the Creator.
So we just did superstition, which is like food for thought. Now you're talking about food for the body. So what we learned in that chapter? What's going on with the food?
The bad foods.
Why is it bad?
Affects you.
Huh?
They're not natural, like it's not. They've been messed with.
All right, cool. So what if I'm one of those be like, man, so what? So what? So what the foods mess with? So what? What's the issue?
The issue is that it affects you deeper than you know.
It affects you deeper than you know. But you on the podcast, let people know how it affects you. We teachers. We becoming teachers. How does it affect you?
It slow you down.
It slow you down. How?
Put you on lockdown.
Put you on lockdown. How?
Clog up your arteries.
Clog up your arteries. What else?
Clog your mind. Okay. For example, the food coloring get the children ADD. Anybody ADD start messing with your ability to focus.
Excuse me too, but that includes like people who suffer from depression. My uncle, he takes all this medicine for depression, and all he did was change his diet. That opened him up to not having the depression episodes. Even if he still has them, they're not, blocking what else he can do. He can still function. And, where before all it would do was just, drag him down. If he's depressed, he's all the way depressed. He's shut down from everything. But now if he gets an episode, he can still counter, still bounce back because of the way he changed his diet.
Now, go ahead.
Hormones in the meat.
Hormones in the meat.
A lot of black us. They said we got a lot of us bipolar.
Right.
Mood swings.
Right. So a lot of this stuff keep us out of tune with other things. Now, bottom line, they've been telling us for years, you are what you eat. That's the bottom line. You are what you eat. So what if everything you eat is processed? Everything you eat is laced with poisons.
What is process?
Process. Lord have mercy. Process is when you take something and you take it through a step-by-step change. Like, for example, I take sugar and I step-by-step through the process change it from blonde to white. Then, because you like brown sugar, I will add something to it to make it blonde again. You know what I'm saying? So when they process stuff, like for example the milk, we get milk. A lot of people have problems with milk. They take milk and they boil it or raise it up to such a temperature where they kill everything in it that's of any value. Same thing with the eggs. They destroy the eggs. Same thing with the honey. How many of y'all know that honey is one of the best foods that you can eat? It has all the B vitamins. It has a lot of minerals. And in fact, it will cut down on your allergic episodes during the springtime if you eat pure honey. But what they take with the honey, what they do with the honey, they heat it up and kill everything in it. So they're serving us dead food. So now, if you are what you eat, and you eating dead food, then what are you? Dead. Which means we're that zombie. We're that zombie that homeboy was talking about right here. And we can't plug into anything but the artificial world. Right?
Right. In the artificial world that the food is leading you to will be sickness and having a drug habit that they call pharmaceuticals. Because you're going to need medicine to eventually start countering all this stuff.
I think another important thing was how you wrote down, I think he said solitarian. Mm-hmm. And then he went to
libertarian.
Was it vegetarian?
Libertarian.
Wow.
Existing off the sun alone.
That's a solitarian.
It's I don't know if I
and then when you think about even with the sun, how important the sun is, and that the sun gives everything that eats on this plane energy.
Right.
We once were able to do that. Now they have us eating what? 3 meals a day, at least 2 or 5 snacks a day. And it's all dead and unprocessed foods.
And food that you didn't have to work for. Think about it. It's food that you ain't have to work for. Because part of, like right now we got to work out, but part of our physical fitness was getting our food, preparing our food. Now everything is packaged for you. It becomes convenient. So now I can sit around and eat all damn day. At one point in time, we used to have to get out. If you wanted meat, you had to get out and get that damn meat. You know what I'm saying? I want some meat. Come on, you get a crew of dudes. We going out. I'm looking for a water buffalo. We might have to settle for a rabbit by the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? But we had to get out there and work, and then we had to lug all that home. We didn't need to lift weights. You know what I'm saying? That warrior spirit was in us, and somehow because of the way we eating, we're not even growing our own stuff no more. Many of us don't even do gardening no more. I'm 46. I just now started working on my first garden. You know what I'm saying? And we're robbing ourselves. We're making ourselves weak. We think it's normal. But gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, this is not normal. It's not normal. It's convenient.
It's the Matrix.
Convenient for who? The Matrix.
It's convenient for the Matrix. It keeps us locked in as slaves and zombies, as Prophet said. Zombies. We watching the TV show thinking that they're talking about some fantasy world when we living in a world of zombies.
We are the zombies
and vampires.
They have us glued to television. I mean, seriously. So we're the ones stuck. Right, basically, The Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead.
I think one of the biggest things you also take from the Matrix is that it's a form of warfare. Because we sitting here talking about how our food is done and everything. You know, what we should be eating. But like you spoke on the honey. You know how much it is for a jar of raw honey?
Oh yeah,
it's $10.
Not true.
Yeah. That's right.
Oh, I get you a bigger jar for $10.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We let's talk.
Right.
But the point is, you know, they always say it's a war when I'm in the store because, you know, vegetables is high, everything. And what killed me about it is they're not processing the stuff that's good for you. They're not adding nothing to it. They're not doing no extra work, but they're charging you more. Why?
it's actually from what I've heard was it's cheaper to actually the organic food is cheaper than the pesticide food because they have to pay for the pesticides that they're putting on these plants.
That's what I'm saying. You would think that that's it,
Right.
But when I'm in there, it's cheaper.
Yeah, I mean because they're saying this is healthy. So if you want this, you got to pay for it. That's a discouragement because I can't afford it. Even though the way I look at it now is it's really time to take care, especially being here, it's time to take care of yourself so you can be here tomorrow to see what's going on versus, okay, what can I afford now,
But it's a war in the store.
It is.
It's a war for your health.
It is.
Yeah. And your mind, and your spirit, and your intuition, and your body. I control all those things. I got me a zombie. I got me a slave. You know what I'm saying? So, any other comments before we move on? Music. Anybody want to read the music chapter?
I just wanted to bring out one more thing. So we talked a lot about it because it's so important. We socialize around food and everything. But I think it's also important to say, to recap the solution, because we talked about cleansing and fasting and, spiritually and mentally as a way to combat some of the matrix. And I think that's important to say. So it's not just doom and gloom.
No. There is a solution. For those that's listening on the podcast, there are solutions. We're just reading the book right now, and we're working on all that. Because I'm gonna get me a yard big enough. I'm gonna get me a beehive, dog. So you get the honey cheek from me. You know what I'm saying? My chickens and all that. I mean, and really that's the way we got to start thinking. Because one of the first things he read, and I think the last time we was here, I asked the question. I said, "Can you have a nation if you don't control your food?" And he answered, "No. You can't have a nation if you don't control your food. You can't have a nation. You can't have a tribe." And I didn't break it all the way down, but really, can you control your family if you don't control a percentage of the food that they eat? We wonder why some of us is crazy. Because we eating stuff from people that don't really give a damn about us. At all. Now, even if we eating bad food, even if I can't afford the healthiest food, there have been studies that show that you could change the vibration of a food just by the thoughts that you think before you eat it. Hopefully, before we get through with this whole process, there is a video called "The Message in Water." Anybody seen that?
I think I've seen
In Messages in Water, you had this Japanese dude who did experiments with water crystals. With water. Basically, what he wanted to know was, how does human thought affect water? And you can look it up on the internet. And basically what it said was that he would take water and he would have people think certain thoughts around it, like, "I hate you." And what he would do was he would do this experiment over and over again. He had people hold the water and be like, "Water, I hate you." Right? Don't do nothing. So what he would do was flash freeze the water and watch the crystals that would form around the water. And whenever there was negative thoughts around that water, it formed a messed up crystal pattern. And this was consistent, regardless of what negative thoughts a person was thinking. This water would be affected by it. So he'll pull it out of a dam or someplace water was polluted, and he would have people think the negative thoughts, and of course, the crystal would be messed up. But then he would take the same water and he would have people think positive thoughts around his water. "I love you," or "Thank you, water," for blah blah blah. Well, what you would see, he would start seeing beautiful crystals form around the water from the water that this energy was projected. So the question that people start asking is, since the human being is 70% water and the majority of the food that we eat, a large percentage of it is water, how do we affect the food that we eat with the thoughts we're thinking? Could this be why in ancient traditions they had people pray over their food before they ate it? I'm sorry. Let's move on. Any other music? Anybody want to read the music? Oh, go ahead, Prophet. You want to read the music?
Oh, crap.
You raised your hand.
I was scratching.
Scratching what, the ceiling?
I read it.
This.
Music is the gateway. The gateway to what you may ask. The gateway to what you may ask. The gateway to healing. The gateway to spirituality. The gateway to inner and outer body experiences. Even the gateway to other dimensions. It is the one true universal language that speaks to the higher self of all. Our ancestors used the power of music for all of these purposes and many more. Music for mere entertainment was near the bottom of the scale. The right chord, hymn, or drum sound that resonates to the core of one's essence can work wonders for the soul. Even today, the right music enables one to escape the stress of everyday life, to feel free and let the imagination run wild. This allows one to unleash the power of visualization, which is imperative because our ancestors taught that all is mental. Yet we live in a world of dualities. So for all of the positive energy and attributes that music have to offer, there are those who know the science of music well and can use its power for the exact opposite effect. There are certain sounds that carry low or negative vibrations that can trigger the dark side of our emotions like anger, hate, sorrow, and pain. There's also music that is geared toward our conscious and subconscious mind, each having a different effect on our psyche. With the advanced technology of today, such as ELF, which stands for extremely low frequencies, the music can easily be tampered with. Harmful messages can be placed into the music that are so low that the naked ear cannot detect, but sound as loud as a boombox to the subconscious mind. There are also messages in the music that can be heard one way by the conscious mind and heard totally differently by the subconscious mind. In the early 80s, Run DMC put out a song called Walk This Way with the rock group Aerosmith. If you play the chorus in reverse instead of the words saying walk this way, they say hail Satan. The Matrix has trained us to think and hear in linear patterns, even though our brains are far more complex. We are taught that if it doesn't make logical sense, then it doesn't make any sense at all. This logical portion of our brain, left hemisphere, is only 10% of its full potential. And since the average person only uses 10% of their brain's capacity, which is the logical or analytical portion, this leaves plenty of space for the manipulators to work with. They can send hidden signals and messages at the part of our brains that we rarely consciously access. These signs can be right in our face, but just outside of the frequency of the 10% that we are trying to use, and we won't be able to see or hear them. It's like they're invisible. This is why it's hard for the average person to detect or even believe that something so horrible could be taking place. The word music derives from the Greek word muse, which is the culmination of arts, sciences and humanities, history, comedy, music, tragedy, lyric poetry, dance, erotic poetry, storytelling, astronomy, and heroic, epic, and eloquence. This sounds like hip-hop to me. These 9 uses are cultivated in the creative portion, right hemisphere of the brain, the 90%. This is how we make the unknown known. It is also the reason that so-called black people thrive in these areas. Our story is told through the arts, and music plays a major role in us doing so. Even though the word music derives from a Greek word, the science is much older than that. In fact, the famous museum at Alexandria, founded by Ptolemy I, was a temple of learning dedicated to the muses. Music can free us or enslave us. The Matrix knows this. We must begin to listen to the music again as opposed to just hearing it. There lie the keys to the story being told through the music that can reconnect us to our ancestors and put a ripple in the Matrix grand design to control us.
Comments? Go ahead.
The music can affect you. Like sometimes you're down, you listen to some happy song or something, you get super happy real quick, bro. You're happy sometimes. You listen to a sad song like the commercial with the dogs. And they start playing that one song, and you start
Yes.
Like, oh.
Use the music to
you want to buy, go get the help the dogs. So
Right.
it can affect you in a lot of ways.
Right.
Yeah, I'm talking about that one with the crippled dogs.
Yes.
Yeah, how people abuse the dog.
You be like,
And it's, some angel that wants somebody.
Another example is in the stores. In the stores, playing certain music, have you in that buy fever, and you don't even really know it. You know,
I be driving cars
Like
crazy.
especially during Christmas time.
I can't stand that.
I mean, seriously, you be in there like, I don't even do Christmas, but when you go in there and they start playing the songs, I'm noticing, for real, this is just this year, I'm putting stuff in the cart like, oh, I'm gonna get somebody. I don't even do this stuff, but I'm saying it got up to the counter and literally put the stuff back, but it was the music. This making you feel happy, knowing that you don't have the resources to do all it, but that's deliberate.
I have the opposite reaction then. When I hear that music, I want to get out the store. I'm like, I'm gone.
Well, men don't really shop, so that's
Yeah, right. Seriously, you literally have to be in the store, though. I mean, you
we know
know.
we want to go get it. It's a whole different mind state for us. We hunters. We know what we looking for. When we get focused on it, we get it.
Oh, that's true too.
And any
Women are
music,
forgers.
as a matter of fact, any music that I usually hear, I'm like ready to like just, like I just take a car and I just like start going. Like I just go fast until I don't hear it anymore. And when I don't hear it anymore, well,
yeah.
either kicked out or otherwise. But yes.
I seen it was a show that they had on TV for a short time, and it was about these people. They manipulate people using subconscious messages. So they had a guy who his challenge was to get everybody in a mall to do something at the same time. Anybody ever seen this show? So what he did was he had the music playing on the mall, the mall, and in the music he was talking up under, and he was saying, "When I stop the music, you will raise your right hand." And he said it over and over again, and people was just walking through the mall, and he said, "When I stop the music, you will raise your right hand." So all of a sudden the music stopped, and everybody stopped and raised their right hand, and everybody's looking around like, what's going on?
Right.
Wow.
And then they would explain the process. But of course, they took this off of TV real quick. Because they had one dude walk into a jewelry shop and basically through manipulating the person, he gave the person some cut newspaper for cash. So by the time the dude got done and put the newspaper in the cash register, he was going. But you can deal, and there are people that know how to manipulate you through the music, through visual images. This is why movies are an ultimate way of controlling people, because they throw out images and music, and I combine them.
Like the Avengers.
Like the Avengers, or one that was used to propagate the whole idea of democracy. What's the one? Spartans 300. The biggest. It was a great movie. Man, it's a great movie. But the whole piece was, for me, that what I picked up was it was an advertisement for democracy, supposedly. You know what I'm saying? Free choice. When the Spartans were the biggest slaveholders in almost the history of the world. But I'm gonna leave that alone. But anyway, music can be used, and music has been used to manipulate people over time. And like, for example, we talked about one time how music used to precede the troops into war. The musicians was the first one to go to battle. They would play for you as you actually had a soundtrack as you was killing people. Dun, 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 dun. You got a soundtrack going for you. People understand?
Even up to the Civil War.
Oh man, you got the bugle players. Even up to this day in the military, they wake you up with the bugle. You know, so we got to.
It's just like the food. It's something that we come in contact with every day and don't realize the higher power of the music is a very spiritual thing.
Oh man, very
highly spiritual thing. You know, and like I said, we rarely used it as entertainment, and in our ancestral time, using it just for no reason. Just like they used to eat for no reason.
Huh.
You know what I'm saying?
Great.
Alright, so like there was this trailer that I watched, and I promise I cannot get this song out of my head. Like, so one day, like I was like, oh my God, Guardians of the Galaxy coming out and all that stuff. So like I'm waiting, and then it finally comes out. Now this song is stuck in my head called "Hooked on the Feeling." I'm not sure if you ever heard of it or not.
No.
Like it like starts with "Uka Chaka Uka Uka" and all that other stuff.
Oh, I know what
And basically, like one day I heard that song, and all of a sudden, like I went to like straight up Star Alert mode, like just like started jumping off of stuff. I started like doing flips and all that stuff.
It's funny.
It was like some straight up parkour, like.
I used to be in the wrestling when I was younger, and them interest themes, them songs, when them songs come on, it's all put you just start like, you know what I'm saying? It could be on a commercial or something, you know. Like, you hear that music, you want to watch wrestling,
right?
You know what I'm saying? So, but that's even look at what the music creates action. You know what I'm saying? The melody
creates a whole atmosphere. I mean, because just using wrestling, that music sets the tone for the individual that comes out. And you know, if you're a wrestling fan, you can listen to the music and you know who coming out. You know what I'm saying? You know when The Rock, if he's still wrestling, you know when The Rock is cooking. You know when is he still wrestling? Is the Undertaker still wrestling?
Yeah. Oh, I thought he was dead.
That's that's the whole thing. I would think he would be dead.
I was watching a show, and they had seen the music and the plant growth, and they did the test with metal, rock, jazz, and like country or something. And jazz grew to it grew the most, and then rock was the least. It was just like a little baby plant, and the pop was in the middle.
The thing I noticed about jazz is that I'm sorry. The thing I noticed about jazz is it will just have you jazz for some reason is that type of music where it just gives you rhythm. If you don't have no rhythm, it'll just give you there. You just sit there, start tapping your feet, just listen to the jazz and everything. You just become chill.
It's some jazz that get you hyped up too.
Unless you're European.
What about the negative music?
Oh, for that?
Get you turned up.
It really does get you turned up. It makes you want to shoot somebody.
Yeah.
You your soundtrack to do some foolishness too, huh?
It makes you want to shoot somebody, jump some people,
Shake
fight,
somebody.
steal.
What's a cap?
It makes you talk a certain way too. I noticed that too.
Oh yeah.
You can go from being hello, my name is yada yada yada, Gary Coleman, yada yada, and all that other stuff, to hey, what up, man? What's up, my nigga? How you doing, my nigga? How y'all doing, man? Yes. All that stuff.
True.
So, if you're not in a negative mood, but just happen to listen to might be a little great song, Gucci, you know what I'm saying? What's up, whoever, you know what I'm saying? Chief Keef.
Man, Chief Keef is a.
If you're not,
I don't care if you're from my side.
If you're not in a bad mood, but you might want to listen to Don't Like. You think your subconscious is in a bad mood? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You might just woke up and have some cereal or something. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. That's that I don't like. You know what I'm saying? That starts your day off. You know what I'm saying? How you think the rest of your day going to go, or your interactions with people, or do you think that you would be more, your senses would be more heightened to get at somebody a little more if they came at you, not even meaning to come at you the wrong way? You know what I'm saying? You think you would be more offended? You spent the walk to the bus or walk to school listening to some Chief Keef. Think you'd be having just a little more edge?
I'd be pissed. I don't even like that guy. I don't care if he's from my side of town. He ain't no disciple. Forget that. Oh. Forget about music for a second. What about the reality TV shows?
Who? What about who?
Reality TV shows.
Well, I mean, but then that's still bringing music, because during those romantic scenes, what do they do?
Right. They let you have,
Soap operas is ran on the music. That's all it is.
Like The Young and the Restless.
They start playing the music before they die.
Now, scary movies is funny because The music and the action really jumped into me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's like they're really using their power with the horror movies.
And then the visual
movies.
I never understood why the
they good with all. I mean, really, because you notice,
like there's the alley.
You notice the scary movies a little bit more because you might get to jump because they play the music right. But then think about some of the movies with the sad scenes. I mean, they ain't playing no hyped up music during it. You know what I'm saying? The music sets the tone. You know what I'm saying? Because you got individuals that study that. We got to understand there's people that study these things and they know exactly what to put out for you.
Tone, frequency.
I'm sorry, I'm horrible, but I laugh during the sad scenes. Like if somebody's dying and I'm like really trying to make it sad, I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna just sit there and laugh because you're about to die. I mean, you getting out of the situation. That's a free pass, and I'm laughing at you because it's the music. Like you expect me to really feel a certain way because you have out this music, and I'm not gonna feel that way if we have out this music. Instead, I'm just gonna laugh my the show.
So now I got a question because I know you like. So the last episode of Young Titans, you laughed when Kid Flash died.
I didn't exactly laugh. I was more like no, but I didn't cry either. But my point is, you didn't laugh, right? Because you was invested in the show. Okay,
right?
I laughed afterwards.
Huh?
I laughed afterwards.
But I'm talking about during, because afterwards, it's pretend. You can look back and just be like, that was silly. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just a cartoon character. But you got this character who you have been invested in for the last 2 years, who is running and can't run as fast as the Flash or the Flash's grandson, and dies because he's trying to save the world.
One, he doesn't die. He disappears, and then afterwards, like in season.
Wait, time out. Did you know that before the show?
Yeah.
You knew that before the show?
Yes, I knew that before the show.
I'm
pretty
but
familiar
you said
with
it already.
Right, I'm done.
That you felt. You said
you felt
no.
something.
Oh, you don't understand it.
No, it doesn't matter. He already said that he got caught up in it.
He got caught up in it, right?
No.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Because you're right. He did just disappear, but the point was the disappearance meant something. And we know in the comic book universe, you can always resurrect anybody because it's mental. It's a mental creation. But the point I'm trying to make is you got caught up in the moment, and that's what it's about. Right? It's so we all got it.
I would like to really point out that while I did say no, I kind of actually seen that one coming. Like if you really think about it, I mean, you look back a couple episodes because you remember how like they took that long hiatus. So I'm looking back at all episodes and all that other stuff, and I really got to know the episodes, season 2, episode 7 really well because when Impulse came, I noticed that Flash wasn't running a lot, all that running as fast as the other two. So in truth, that's retrospect for what was going to happen.
Now, so you talking about foreshadowing, but it's only foreshadowing now that you're able to look back on it. Now, when it happened, you were surprised just like everybody else. You was able to see, because listen, this is how and we need to be careful of this. This is how we make ourselves feel a lot better about not being able to cast something. I had all the proof. And now I can talk about it as if I knew the shit was going to, as if I knew it was going to happen before it happened after the fact. Come on, dude. Okay. You were shocked like everybody else. You felt bad because you had invested in this character over 2 years. 2 years, right? You felt bad. Regardless of whether he disappeared or whatever. You was hurt. I mean, it shocked you. I'm like, dang, he was a major character. How they go? Then they ain't even gonna continue the series.
I'm not gonna lie. I did read the news where they said that Young Justice was gonna kill off somebody. I just wasn't expecting it to be him. So yes, I was shocked. I was very shocked.
Now, how did you feel? Because the music. I mean, they had it. The music was good. You oh man, it's almost over. You had a sigh of relief, but now they got to get this one thing out the way, and then we got a happy ending. Then all of a sudden, out the blue,
Kid Flash dies. Yes.
Or as you said before, when you knew he was going to die, he just disappeared.
He gets transferred into the Speed Force, and in season 3, if it would have happened, he would have became the Flash on them all.
We don't know that because we go. But hold on, because comic book talk. Hold on.
It does happen.
Hold on. The Speed Force is limited. It's divided amongst the amount of speedsters that's there at that time.
That's in
Flashes.
some universes. Other universes, other Flashes can still use it. Like in the mainstream comic universe, Wally West is now actually the fast. No, wait, never mind. They mainstream that after Flashpoint. Flashpoint messed everything up. But before that, Wally West was the fastest. So I kind of actually seen it coming, because if Wally West was like gonna disappear and decepitate, supposedly, he actually merged with the Speed Force. He's supposed to come back in season 3 as the fastest Flash, and therefore also like continue on with the mainstream comics.
All right, cool.
Point
We're gonna talk after the clip.
Point is that's the box that you in.
Mom!
And they got you because you in that box. Y'all dialogue, and anybody else know what they talking about?
No.
Right.
But,
That's the paradigm. That's the box that they got you in. They got you when they killed off the main character. You didn't think that they did. That's the power and the control that music has.
With the music, right? Because
That's
they played
what
the
we
music.
do.
Because without the music, has anybody ever watched a movie and cut down the sound?
Oh, it sucks.
Is what? It's terrible. You take the music out. The movie is not as good. Like, for example, the scene with in the Matrix. Since we talking about the Matrix, the scene in the Matrix where they did the shift, where they took you from one world and all of a sudden they introduced you to a whole nother world.
Zion.
We ain't like that.
Huh?
He said they ain't like that one.
They ain't like that one. The very first one.
Oh, that was first one.
I'm talking about the first one. The first one when he took the pill and he put his hand in the mirror and it went down. Then all of a sudden you went from where he was every day he was in this world, but then all of a sudden he was in the real world. It was a shift, but at that point when it shift, listen to the music because it elevates you. It changes the mood. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yo, it's people that know. It's people that study this, and there's some people that just know this.
You know what? Come to think of it, the last scene of the Matrix, not the original. I'm talking about like Matrix Revolution, where like Neo's fighting Smith. That wouldn't have actually been that good without the music. Like the music kind of made 50% of it. But if you really think about it, that was like basically a Dragon Ball Z ripoff. Like when did Smith learn to fly?
Actually, that was a horrible movie. That's just my opinion.
Since we're talking about tones and frequencies, and we were speaking on what's current right now, all of these reality shows. Seriously, let's look at the impact that it's going to have on us as a people, relationship-wise. It's not family-oriented.
Yes,
it's a whole bunch of other areas, but it's setting the tone and frequency right now.
Yeah.
For us to be disruptive.
I mean, but think about it. I mean, all that stuff
People
is
stuck to it, and they got us glued. I mean, it's no different. It had me triggering and thinking about other little fear factors. Like the 2012. You know, everybody was scared, like, oh, it's going to be the end because you just don't. I mean, we don't know ourselves well enough to know. Seriously, but we're getting all of this feed from the media, telling us what they want us to hear, and it's really putting us in a state of fear.
Right.
You know, it's kind of funny because like during the actual day, like December 21st, 2012, I forgot all about it. I was like,
until they bringing it back up. It's December.
I think my biggest thing was when it was about 2000, like, how are the computers going to flip over?
Y2K was another one. Yes.
And they got and they always got something coming after that. But now that gets back into setting the tone. Now, because tone is used, you know what I'm saying? And tone is a musical term. They set the tone. They always have you ready for the next big disaster. Always. The next disaster. Now, what's next? 2012 done went by. What's going on next? Anybody heard about the next big?
Yeah.
2000.
Blood Moon.
2016, they say.
What's that?
I don't know, man.
He just threw out a number. Hell, we can just say something right now, and next thing you know, it'll be going viral.
Hold up, I know all about this.
Well, let him go, because go ahead.
Something you could ask Siri when the world gonna end or something. And he's talking about the devil thing when he take over. Reparation. I don't know what it's called.
Blue Beam Project?
Revelations.
Something.
Revelations. Ah, okay.
You ask Siri like on iPhone, she
Okay.
Mom, can I see your
That's
iPhone?
funny. Wow.
Go ahead.
Did they got her broke off?
She said
Alright,
stuff is
so
gonna happen. No.
Alright, so like,
talking about like the devil's coming back right now, like
He here.
whatever that is.
Talking about it.
he's already.
Go ahead.
Talking about that's for the iPhone.
Well, let me start by saying I spent my week on the streets, and during that time, I was outside waiting for breakfast, and this dude was like this. He like, "Hey, you hear about the blood moon last night?" I'm like, "Yeah." Yeah, I heard about the blood moon. I actually seen the blood moon. He like, yeah, it's supposed to be full moon, and then afterwards the world's gonna end. This is gonna be like a huge, giant UFO. I'm like, oh my god, this dude is crazy. Look, hurry up.
I forgot about the blood.
Yeah.
But you know we get like 8 of those.
Them red.
You know,
Yeah.
the red moons. All of us done seen red moons, but it just was a big episode now because they always look for something to set the tone. And what's the tone? Fear.
I don't
because
know
when
why.
you are fearful, you are unconscious.
I don't know why, but like whenever there's a blood moon, I just like feel so bloodthirsty. Like, it goes from normal civilized prophet to I want to either taste some blood or kill somebody. I don't know. It's something about that moon that just like makes me.
Don't
how
blame
long
it
you know
on
it's
the moon. No, right. Don't blame it because nobody told you it was a blood moon.
Moon until they just start talking about it. Do you know why they call it the blood moon? Anybody know why they call it the blood moon?
Because it's red?
Nah, not just because it's red, but because it's brighter. And during those phases, it was good to hunt at night. What do you draw when you hunt? Blood. It ain't just because it's red.
I've always had a craving for that though. Like
blood?
Like when I was like 6, I remember like in Uncle Rocky's car, I was ready to like just be like, I like control myself. I was like, yeah. And I'm a nice guy, prophet. When I'm 6, I was yet to be corrupted.
Yet to be corrupted.
By Kim.
Maybe you need to be a true warrior because every
like I really wanted to fight somebody.
Has a place and a purpose. A place and a purpose, and there is times that you must kill. You must kill, but if you're not conscious or
dangerous,
what I want to say, if you're not aware of why, how,
or who,
you see what I'm saying? Exactly. Then that's when it's dangerous.
You kill corrupt behavior.
Not the fact that you are doing it. You have to know who, when, where, how, why.
Let's move to the next chapter. I think it's time.
Time. It has been said that time is an illusion. It doesn't really exist. If this is the case, then how can we be so caught up in something that is not real? And how can something that is not real govern our lives? This leads me to ask the question, are we real? Are these bodies and all that we see around us some form of hologram? Or is it that the only way that we can utilize our bodies and participate in this hologram called life is that we must be subjected to the thing called time? Yet, when we sleep and enter the dream realm or the dark side, time seems to be suspended. We can partake in great adventures in our dreams that seem to last for hours. Yet when we open our eyes, only 10 minutes have lapsed. When we're asleep, are we really awake or vice versa? Could the dream world be the real world where time doesn't exist? If this is the case, then this may explain why we spend so much of our lives, 1/3, in the dream world. Even those who black out have no recollection of time. This proves that one can rise above the laws of time. Yet those who, with the proper knowledge of time, can manipulate it as they see fit, or use time to manipulate others. Do we really know the exact day and time that we live in, or are we under influence of a program written by someone else that has us living on their timetable? If so, this only serves their agenda. How can we prepare for certain spiritual cosmic events that our ancestors foretold about if we don't know exactly the time and the time the event is scheduled to take place? Meanwhile, those who know the time put themselves in position to receive the energy that was meant for us. The majority of us are subjected to the lowest level of time programming from 9 to 5. Our lives revolve around a job that in actuality takes up far more time than just 8 hours that it appears to. The before and after effects, the grueling schedule of chasing the dollar, which is equivalent to time. Time is money, dominates our lives. This may not seem significant to many, but it is. The more time and energy that we focus on the matrix agenda, the less time we have to focus on our own. This makes us time slaves who will never be able to master our own destiny. We all would like to study more, but we don't have time. We would all like to meditate more, but we don't have time. We would all like to eat better, but we don't have time. We would all like to spend more time with our children to get to know them better, but we don't have time. Collectively, our dreams are never fulfilled because time will not allow it. And then we die. Therefore, time as it is currently used to contain us is the enemy. Our true understanding of time can make it as an ally. Right? This is when time travel and manipulation becomes possible. Our mastery of time will mean one thing and one thing only for the Matrix. Time is up.
Time is up. Questions, comments, go ahead.
Time was created, I don't know when, but it was created by a man. You didn't know about time until someone said, it's this o'clock at this time. You wasn't worried about it. You was already connected with the natural time. Like when a rooster wake up at cock-a-doodle or whatever. They know that time because it's embedded in them. Or you have your own time. Like this is all created. How China got a different time than here. They got Pacific and wherever we are. You got all the different timings. There's no one natural time besides the one that's already counted.
So time is a man-created concept.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Now we got when the Earth rotates and you got all that, and you got the sun like coming, spins.
Does it really
on the axis.
Does it spin though? Does it spin? I mean, not even the people that taught us that.
What do you call it? I don't know what to call it. Circle. Sphere.
What, the Earth?
Spinning. Yeah. Rotate.
Dude, I mean, but time. Lord have mercy. We ain't gonna get into that one because I mean that brings up a whole lot of questions. But now, since you said time is a man-made concept, I want everybody to spend a little bit of time thinking about that.
Wow.
Right.
Like the same word.
I want you to think about that concept. Time. Think about it.
It's time.
You have.
Go ahead.
Because now that we're indulged in, like, you got to wake up at this time, you got to schedule, you got to be on schedule or it's over. Now we got that. But we used to live freely. We didn't care about time. You'll do what you need and your passion or whatever. But since now we got indulged in the workplace and all that. Like when you're a kid, you don't care about time. You flying through, then you go to sleep, you wake up, get up and do it again.
And you wonder what?
Have you ever noticed that, like, for example, when you're having fun,
Time flies.
it flies by, right? But when you're in pain, you ever see? I mean, like, for example, I'm doing some exercises in the morning now, and they hurt, and I got a watch in front of me, and I close my eyes, and I start counting in my head. I'm like, oh, it got to be 10 seconds left. And I close my eyes open, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. It's about to stop. Open my eyes. 8 seconds. Oh, God. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
To me, personally, time is real. Like, it's real. But it's more like limited. Like, it's like running off of limited perception. Like, the current time system, if you really think about it, that's more like a limited perception as opposed to like what time this happened, what time this happened, what time this happened. Like, there's like places and walls and sequence and boxes of events that has to happen at a certain time. Like a day, if you really think about it, is a box. It starts at 12 and it ends at 12. I call those angles.
You call those who?
Angles.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have something that starts at 12 and ends at 12, that's an angle right there. You're at 12 degrees and 12 degrees. So for us personally, for me personally, it like runs off of perception, because while you have that 12 degree angle, to someone else it could be a 1 degree to a 24 degree angle. No one gets this.
I get that. It's that, it's perception. You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
Because time don't. I ain't gonna say it doesn't exist outside of our perception, but our perception got a lot to do with it. Like you said, when you black out, and I blacked out before, no sense of time. When you sleep, you no sense of time.
Right.
Like you said, when time flies when you're having fun. When I'm at work looking at that clock, I swear an hour is longer than an hour.
Right. It slows down.
One time I came home from college and I worked a factory job. Bless anybody who does that type of work.
Grandpa.
But time was, and this has been over probably 20 years ago. That was the slowest, and there was music playing. That was the slowest time period ever in my life. But like Prophet, I have to agree. I do believe that there is a time, but that is saying through the other little chapters in the book. It matters who controls your time. Mm-hmm. So, like, why the majority of us might be working at 9 to 5, 3 to 11, and 7 to whatever that next third shift is. If you pay attention, I noticed this too when I moved back to Ohio. Mm-hmm. There's a whole lot of other people who are not working in those paradigms anymore. Mm-hmm. So what do they know that we don't know? They have a whole lot more leisure time than we have.
But we consider it, we perceive it as leisure time. They might be doing some serious work.
Right. I'm not saying that they don't, but what I'm referencing is I noticed that I'm home from school over 20 years ago, college, and I'm looking and I'm like, the mall is full. Mm-hmm. What is y'all doing? Like I caught that, It's not
in fact, they got mall cities now.
Right.
That's what Easton is. Basically, Easton is a mall city. Mm-hmm. I mean, so you go there and if you go in there, people shopping all day long.
Right now.
So but then also I got a question for you. When you go to work, what are you selling?
I want to be up in there walking in
your time.
You're selling your time. I'm purchasing your time so that you can focus on mine and not yours.
Pick the price that you buying it from me.
Well, now no more. Now no more. But go ahead, bro.
What was that one movie when they had a time when they?
That was a good movie.
Justin Timberlake.
That wasn't Justin. That wasn't Justin Timberlake. That was okay. That's okay. Because it was another one called Inception with the dude that Justin Timberlake looked like. What's that white boy name? Leonardo. That one was good. Now I was watching that one. Huh?
It's more about dreams.
Well, dreams, but in the dream world, they deal with different concepts of time. Because at the deepest level of a dream, a year would be like 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And the deeper you went to the dream world, the more extended your time became. So the deeper, when they went to the deepest point, it was like they would be there for a minute, but like 5 years would go by. You know what I'm saying? And I was watching the movie, and I'm like, Cleve came down, and he was like, what you watching? I said, man, Cleve, I don't like explaining movies to you in the middle of the movie. You got to sit down and watch it. You won't even understand this movie. Because I'm trying to still do the math in my head. So the first level is, second,
So I sat down and I explained what I knew to Cleve. I said, Cleve, all right, cool. This is what's going on. So he listened to me explain the movie. He said, oh, yeah, Pops, that's like when we was watching the Thundercats and they was dealing with the Leaf people.
Wow.
I said,
I remember
wow.
that episode.
You seen the episode?
Yes. Like where they like.
Oh, you ain't feel sad at the end of the episode either, huh? That's what I thought. For those that don't understand, that didn't watch the Thundercats, in that episode.
No, I did not.
Oh, whatever.
I was
in that episode.
At the video.
The Thundercats got caught up in the thorn forest. In the thorn forest, there was a people who was made out of leaves or something. So Lionel became friends with one of these leaf people, and they started finding out that their time perception and their time reality was different than Lionel's. So this leaf dude went through his whole life cycle in one day. And the Thundercats was with them. So the Thundercats is going through their time cycle, but they watched this little leaf dude go from a child all the way through death.
The teenager was funny, though. You're not the boss of me, man!
All in one day. So in this whole one day, they went through the whole cycle of this little being's life. And I'm like, damn. I mean, my son looked at this, he caught this, and he was able to use this symbol to put it in there. But the whole piece was, what they was teaching us is that people have different perceptions of time. And because of their perception of time, it gives them power, either power over time, or they become subservient of time. Most of us in this room are subservient of time. Rather than time working for us, we work for time. But go ahead, Prophet.
The one thing for me, and this has like been, I don't know how many years I've looked at time like this, but all the civil rights movement, all the like civil rights movements, all like the little people getting hanged, like our people getting hanged, beaten, stabbed, killed, shot, murdered, etc. Like Malcolm X and all that stuff. Like someone can like tell me that they're 85. I'm like, you're young. You're really, really young.
You said now. It's a matter of perception, because for a tree, all of us have short lives.
To me, everybody has a short life.
Now, but for a mountain, a tree has a short life. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we all existed in different time paradigms. And I think one of the things that he's trying to get us to understand is that we're trapped in a time paradigm that doesn't work for us. It wasn't that other cultures didn't have concepts of time, but the concept of time that they did have was theirs. When I went to Africa, you talking about different time paradigm, and I'm black. I go to Africa, I say, hey, we're going to meet tomorrow. We're going to meet tomorrow at such and such a time. And I'll be on time. At least as close as I can be on time. 2 hours later, they come. What's up?
I think it's all tied together. I've really been thinking about this. In terms of time, like right now, at this moment in time, we are all in this circle, studying hip-hop Dakota. Right now, somebody else, or I don't want to skip it back, but one of my favorite sayings is in Hurricane Walker. He was the brother that did time, and they, what did he go to jail for?
Murder.
For murder. But one of his quote, he said, what he had to do to get out of jail for a murder that he didn't do, right? Was he had to transcend time. He had to make time work for him while he was behind the walls. And when I heard that, I was like, wow. But at this point in time, we're sitting in this circle. There's somebody else that's on a plane in Africa. Even in Columbus, there's somebody else who's having a baby. We're all in, different stages and phases. And I often wonder how much of time do we really control? You see what I'm saying? Do we control what it is that we're into at this point in time?
I think we have some power, so I don't get a system of the full power. But just like how the book was saying, we'll tell ourselves that's that negative talk. I don't have time. So
I don't have time.
Say I don't have time. That means that it's not going to even happen. You didn't cancel it out instead of making the time.
See, we have the ability to create time. we have the ability to create time. We might have to cut something off. You know what I'm saying? But when we are in control, because if I'm controlled by habit, then of course I don't have enough time. You know what I'm saying? There's going to come a certain point in time and everybody's like, well, you're going to decide that I have to start making more time. Because one, I got to support my family, I got to support my lifestyle, so I'm going to have to sell this amount of time. So this means that either I'm going to have to go to bed earlier to wake up earlier, or I'm going to have to go to bed later and wake up earlier. You understand what I'm saying?
So you just controlling the time that you do have.
Yeah, I mean, you
take control of the time that you do have.
You spoke, and now, but most people don't. Most people, in a sense, give it away because most of the time, most of the things that they do, they're spending it for other people. Mm-hmm. Right now in this group, most of us are here because we want to be. So we are investing our time. Mm-hmm. Investing our time. You know what I'm saying? So now, some of us are going to get benefits from the investments, while other people may just be here because they were forced. Some of us are being productive with it. Some of us are being wasteful with it. Mm-hmm. Knowing that an investment means that I'm putting something in it now and going to be able to draw something from it later is a powerful concept. Mm-hmm. We invest in time. We're controlling this time in this space right now. But of course, the world's time is closing in on us. So we got to read this last one. Come on, somebody read this last one. That was good, right?
Light, you say?
Yeah, light.
Okay, hold on. Okay, I got, actually there's two more. There's also the conclusion.
Okay, we'll get to the conclusion.
Under the flesh, we are nothing more than spinning wheels of light. I want to start calling these pawns. These pawns are called chakras by the ancients. And all the 7 major wheels of light that govern our body. There are 7 major wheels of light that govern our bodies. We use the light to receive and transmit information throughout the body and beyond. The level of enlightenment one can achieve is contingent upon the number of wheels that are spinning and activated. Can y'all understand me? Yeah. Okay, I'm just making sure I'm not speaking too fast for y'all. Lit from base of the spine to the top of the head, each wheel is strategically placed and color-coded based on its function. There's the root chakra, red, element, earth. The navel chakra, orange, water. The solar chakra, yellow, fire. The heart chakra, green, air. The throat chakra, sky blue. In other words, just look out the window, you'll see. Ether. The bro chakra, indigo, light. And the crown chakra, violet, thought / will. That's an L. These colors collectively, rainbow, make up the visible spectrum of light. I have something to say about that. Somebody please highlight that. Yet, the more light energy that we can activate from within ourselves, the more light that we can process from the outside of ourselves. Melanin based on people can pick up a greater spectrum of rays, including gamma rays and cosmic rays. Cosmic rays. Respectively. Especially in the proper chakras that are activated. The ultimate goal is to raise the level of energy from the root chakra to the crown chakra. This will bring the highest degree of illumination. Illumination means light, and the light represents the truth, because it allows one to see through the darkness. One of the world's most powerful secret society calls itself the Illuminati, because it claims to know light and what you do not, darkness. And in order to keep the masses in the dark, the art of the light deception must be practiced from the most mundane levels to the grandest scale. From the fluorescent lighting in the classroom that assists stunting and learning process, the sun of which the supreme light of the planet, from internal to external, the matrix is in control of the light. We are trained to eat, drink, and think limits. The awakening of the higher. We are trained to eat, drink, and think limits the awakening of the higher chakras. The chemtrails and the aluminum particles sprayed in the atmosphere, which is used to reflect the true light and energy of the sun, yet give off the illusion that we are being fed by the sun, takes care of the outer source of light. We need to all just serve to let the fundraisers like take the trip to Africa for real or any country for that matter. That doesn't have any points. I'm sorry. The greatest mystery of the Matrix is to keep us from that is there for more than one color of light that emanates from the heavens that we can tap into. There are actually 3 colors of light: white, black, and clear. Most of us are familiar with the white light because it makes us believe the visible spectrum. What we tend to believe is that where the Matrix would like to focus our in because we can control what we see. The black light represents the invisible spectrum of the unseen. 90% of the universe is invisible to us, but that doesn't mean that it's not there. When you go to a dark room and you turn on the light, where's the darkness go? It's still there occupying the same space as the white light, just as it's just overshadowed. The black light is also very powerful, so even though the Matrix is trying its best to manipulate the white light, we can still raise ourselves up by tapping into the black light. There's still the most potent of the 3 called the colorless or the God light. This light is basically clear. However, what makes up the black and the white light. However, it is what makes up the black and the white light. This light is the most dangerous for the Matrix because if one has a mystery of the visible and invisible spectrum, he or she would be able to truly see things clearly. The end result can only mean one thing: lights out for the Matrix. I got something to say about one of these statements up in here. Yes, the rainbow. How is it that... I ain't bashing on anybody who's probably feeling that way at all. But you notice recently how gay people have started this whole movement and they take all the colors, like the rainbow basically, just make it their flag.
They've been doing that.
I'm gonna tear Boys Town up. That's a different story.
But then on one aspect, still we're giving that thing power. We chose to operate on a lower frequency. We the ones decided to only take one color. I'm gonna take red, and this represents I'm in the blood. I'm taking blue. I'm in the Crips, and they came together as a collective. You know what? I'm taking all of them.
Taking all of them.
That's what they do.
They decided.
You see what I'm saying? So you can't blame them when they was consciously and collectively wanted to take it all.
Go ahead.
Each frequency and each color got its own wavelength that you can see. They got the X-rays, the ultraviolet waves, the visible light, and then some you can't see. And then with time, we are actually behind time, because it takes time for light and your visual to travel to your eye and for your eye to see. So they said we're 0.8 milliseconds behind actual time, right. But we was counting time.
Right.
But everything we see is in wavelengths, and how long it takes to get to your eyes.
And that gives credence to this whole intuition thing, because we react to things before we even have all the information processed. Because the information we hear and the information we see is always, as you said, 0.08 seconds behind. So that means all of us are using our intuition to fill in what's missing. Go ahead.
You know what I have a question about?
Go ahead.
I've always wondered, why is there no space colonies? We obviously
no space colonies. What you say?
Just hear me out.
No, I am.
Space colonies.
Okay. Go ahead.
But I've always wondered, are we trapped here on Earth because we can't breathe on the other planets? Is that a possibility, or are we trapped on the Earth because without Earth, basically, we're free?
Well, we trapped on Earth right now because we may not have the technology to get to another place. Do you know how long it would take to get to another planet that will even be considered habitable for us?
5 years.
No. At the current speed? No. You have to be going at almost beyond light speed to make it to 1 in 5 years. But go ahead.
Are we trapped on Earth?
Are we trapped on Earth?
I
don't.
I'm just throwing the question out there.
Mental used to travel to other parallel.
We just read about where do we go when we are asleep?
Right, you're going to a different
or
room.
blackout.
So even just a form of meditation, who's to say that? Astral projection or how
I'm talking physically.
If we were, but guess what? Who's to say if you was able to transcend somewhere that you wouldn't get placed with a physical body or substance to be able to support yourself in another area.
I would love to ask Hurricane, the guy I brought up that did the time, when he says he transcended time, I'd like to ask him, where did you go? I would like to know, what were you doing during the time that you did so?
Transcended time.
Basically, it's I'm here, my physical body is here, but I mean, it was probably a form of meditation.
Somewhere else. Yeah.
Ever a lucid dream?
Yeah.
I heard it was like the astral projection, lucid dream.
Who astral?
He said, what does transcend time mean?
For any reason whatsoever.
Y'all answered that, right? Now, far as the trap piece, if you study the Dogon people in West Africa, the Dogon people knew about stuff that scientifically we didn't know about until maybe 100 years ago, but they've been talking about for 700 years. So either somebody brought them some information or they went out and got it. You know what I'm saying? All right, go ahead, Prophet.
No, it's not like someone's actually called crazy up until like it's proven.
Huh?
Like Galileo, for example, he was called crazy because
his views was outside the matrix.
It's crazy. So notice how like it's crazy until people actually start seeing it.
Right. Whenever new ideas come, regardless, whenever new ideas come, they're always seen as crazy first. Always.
And
I mean, just imagine people looking at the Wright brothers talking about these fools talking about they go fly. You know, you're gonna fly. I mean, think about people who was talking about the things we're doing with our cell phones at this point in time. It was crazy. Lights. Taking pictures. I mean, the lights. Somebody, he gonna have light at nighttime.
Right.
It's fool. You know what I'm saying? So we got all new ideas are viewed as crazy. You know what I'm saying? So let's read the conclusion and then we're gonna get to the yoga piece. Go ahead. You want to read?
Yoga no.
By now you're probably wondering, what does all of this have to do with hip hop? Well, everything our ancestors always taught, as above, so below. What's going on in the heavens is taking place on earth. There is always a
microcosm.
Yeah, what he said. Microcosm of the microcosm.
Macro.
Macrocosm. With that being said, we must understand that the same programs that the Matrix has designed to run the world are the same programs being used to run the hip-hop world. Just a similar scale. The hip-hop nation is just that, a nation. Just that, a nation. How can a small group of people in the world control so many? They must have a system in place to do so. That system is generally based on the aforementioned programs which we discussed. I felt it was a pertinent to give a brief overview of these programs so we could examine how they apply to hip-hop. There are many books already written on each program which will give you extensive insight on the matter, but we only need to understand the function of each so that we can use them as a guide to navigate through the system. In order for a computer repairman to successfully diagnose a problem, he must first be able to properly troubleshoot the system, knowing the functions of each cable, the hardware, the motherboard, and in the case, the programs is essential when it comes to analyzing, repairing, and reprogramming. a system. Yet the same rules apply for someone trying to destroy a system, which is exactly what we're attempting to do. Destroy the system called the matrix of hip-hop. Therefore, let's get to work.
All right. So we finished that chapter. Now what we're going to do, we're going to step from here to the gym. We got maybe about 20 minutes. He's going to teach you some yoga for 20 minutes. All right? Then we're going to come back here, and we're going to have to close down because I got to leave at 6. I hate having time.
It does.
Time. So let's go to the gym. We ain't even ready to do the physical fitness test. Those that... Yes, ma'am. That was 100.